Our community, that means like literally 9 out of 10 people is not going to have as much access as they used to have. So we really got to start working on taking care of each other and building back our community. Because let's look at what actually happened. People in the industry, remember this used to be about 150 people gathering. Now we're down to 15, 20, 25 people. And the reason for that is because the national policy organizations organized against me for continually bringing good education, good policy analysis. Now I refer to myself as a policy reader in exile for pointing out how they're presenting policy that does not help everybody, it only helps themselves, right? So that is something that was rebellious. And so they started going to donors and they started trying to split up our community. Now we all have the responsibility of bringing everybody back to the table. And you know, we hit hard times, but we always continued to meet and rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. Because if I could tell you the number of times those bullies have come and kicked down my sandcastle and said, shut up, bitch, basically. Quit telling people what the law says.
We got it on video.
You know? And that's why we video everything that we do. We're also documenting our harassment, our continued harassment from certain policy organizations like Americans for Safe Access, like DPA, all these national policy firms that say they're policy firms, but really they're just working for particular clubs, and they're certainly not working for the rights of patients. And you know what? We don't need them to. We need to work for our own rights, because if we assign that to somebody else, they're not going to bat for us, they're going to bat for their career. They're going to bat for where can they get in the mix. They're not going to bat for patients. And I truly believe that our organization, in our 15-year history, is the only one that stayed grassroots, that won't be bought off the table. So I'm asking for your help in the next couple of weeks to let other patient advocates know that we're still getting together, because what a part of what they've done is they've gone out there and told people, oh, that's not happening. Wow, that's devious, huh? Just to put somebody down, you're going to let somebody else skip a meal and not get some medicine. Wow. But that's them, and so we know that, and we can't expect a tiger to change their stripes. We're not going to flip them. We're not going to convert them into being good people. We're just going to have to kind of stay our course. And I know that's a lot to ask, but I definitely need your help. By 2019, collectives, so patient collectives, that is usually the way that poor patients have been able to get direct garden shares from a grower. The state is killing those, and they have nothing to support poor patients' access.
And no justification for that.
And no justification other than the fact that they want to destroy. So 2019, collectives will diminish. They'll cease to exist.
Unless
no patient, quote unquote, no national organization. So Americans for Safe Access did not stand up for you. DPA, Drug Policy Alliance, did not stand up for you. MPP, Marijuana Policy Project, did not stand up for poor patients. They're allowing the cutoff of safe access for the profiting of their paying clients. They don't care. They want you to pay something. And you know what? Poor patients, people that are catastrophically ill, are the reason that these people are billionaires. They're not millionaires at this point. They are billionaires.
on our backs.
And they are aligned with conservative politics. Don't fool yourself. Do not fool yourself and think that these organizations are like socialist Democrats or anything like that.
Even the Bernie Crats voted for Bernie Crats, Harvey Milk.
And we have a problem with our local sort of so-called progressive clubs. They all voted against patients' rights too, because who fills their coffers? Who puts money into the politicians that they're running, right?
The money.
The money is the reason why the so-called progressive clubs did not stand up for our rights. So we have about a year to really fight this. And AxisOfLove, we've boarded buses, we've gone to Sacramento, and this year I had to kind of take a break. I withstood about 5 years of constant personal harassment from these folks, and when my dog passed, I couldn't handle it anymore. I needed to lay down for a moment and take a nap. Well, I took a nap and I'm back.
Because it was
So we've got a year. We've got a year to go into battle, and I need you to prepare your hearts and your minds to go into battle, to be able to get up to that mic and say, I am so-and-so. I actually live in San Francisco, and I demand compassionate care for my fellow poor patients. Your doors are open for business because my friends were dying. And if you think that you're going to grow this medicine and not share it, no way. And they'll be deeply cursed. The plant is spiritual. The plant is sacred. It is a sacred gift.
The plant is smarter than some of these folks making dumb rules about it.
And beyond that, it is a sacred gift. In AxisOfLove, we believe medicine is sacred.
And it was when we were out there on the street, so many people said, oh, if I had known that, I wouldn't have voted for this.
Well, it's misinformed voters is what Frank's bringing up. A lot of people just voted for bad laws because they saw the word cannabis and then they saw it next to the word legalization and assumed that that meant more rights for everyone, when actually it means restricting the market, and they call it market consolidation. That's a slippery word for monopoly, a real slippery word. And so they're grabbing up all the small companies and they're grabbing up all the small gardeners and they're pushing them out. There's an article posted on my Facebook which clarifies that we estimate we have anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 growers in California. California grows medicine for probably this entire country. Of those 100,000 plus growers, we're probably only going to see a very tiny percentage be able to get through all the hoops of permitting. So what you have basically are some of the best growers going underground, which is reverse from what AxisOfLove's policy would have done. We would have brought the best of the best, the smallest of the small. Every single grower would have been able to come above ground because we don't want anybody to be illegal for growing a plant. We want regulations. We want regulations. We have worked on regulations for 15 years. One of the ways that the lobbyists try to shut us out is they say, oh, those people are crazy. They don't want any rules. They just want, a free-for-all. They're just, disabled, uneducated, stupid. Their opinion don't mean nothing. We're the fancy people, and we're going to show how this goes down. Wrong. AxisOfLove has been at the policy table for 15 years working to get good policy for everyone.
And
fair policy for everyone, from the richest of the rich to the poorest of the poor.
And we help candidates get elected too.
And we did that, and we're never going to do that again because they never had our backs. Now, one of the candidates that we helped get elected followed through with compassionate care for everyone in this city. We have yet to see if Jane Kim will actually follow through with that. And that's not to say that I don't support progressive candidates. What I'm saying is they haven't supported us back the way that they should have 10 years ago, compassionate care should have been the law of this land. Not a voluntary maybe. The reason it's a voluntary maybe is that Eric Pearson from Spark organized against me. And he has a lot of money, and he puts a lot of money into politicians' pockets, and then he'll go and he'll say, yeah, but I give medicine to this hospice, that hospice. That's not the point. I don't give a flying fuck if you give at the office.
Boycott Spark.
I don't give a flying fuck if you give at the office. What I want is every single dispensary that gets a permit in this city to have a compassion program, to have a reasonable discount for our veterans.
Yeah.
You know, real simple stuff that should have been done years ago and wasn't.
They're gaslighted, ignored,
So
harassed.
now we prepare for battle. We don't settle for this. We become the medicine protectors. We have to take every single piece of policy that comes out of this building, and we have to go over it with a mind that looks for how will this affect affordable access, because nobody else is going to be doing that specific policy reading and chore. The industry is looking at how can we restrict and close down other growers and other small businesses and lock them out. And why? Because that's the nature of the beast. They are going to go and compete with each other. We don't care if they compete with each other, but it better bring that price down. And it better make it more accessible, and it better make it so that people in every district can locally go to a dispensary, because we still have a problem with the sunset. So we know two things are going to be happening in July. We have some industrial sort of quartering off, which will probably affect, my guess is Malia Cohen's district, which is the Hunters Point, Bayview area, right? And areas of District 6, which are industrial and light industrial. And they're going to be surprised that we're going to come in with some intelligent conversation about what they think we have nothing to do with. We're always walking in with everything stacked against us when we go into that building that has a gold-plated dome, right? Money that could have be spent on housing is right up there on that dome. So we know what we go up against, but if we don't, if it's just me, if it's just, hey, oh God, Shona's here again and she's gonna talk about patience, right? That's their attitude. Oh God, she's gonna come in here and talk about poor people. Let's all walk in together and tell them how damn serious we are, because we've been here since day one, and they are making profits on our illness, on our disability, on the fact that we struggle with housing, on the fact that they re-traumatize us, right? Because, you know, they say a traumatized population. I say, no, it's a re-traumatized population because San Francisco has a shitload of poverty pimps, right? So we speak from a very honest place in Axis of Love, and that's not something you're going to find in any patient advocacy organization or any organization that claims to be patient advocacy, which is actually promoting this club or that club or whatever. We don't promote clubs. But we do input on how things could be better. So we have this light industrial thing that will be going on, and then July 13th, we have a club trying to get into the sunset. And I'm going to tell you my position. I'm not supporting the permit. I'm remaining neutral about the permit. But what we're going to go in on is that the city can no longer be discriminatory and allow a Chinese church to come in and say that, and just go. These people are the very same people that many of us here fought against to open up Bach in the sunset. Remember that? How many people were on that journey?
Yep.
A lot of people here were on that journey, and what we faced was one congregation that was brainwashed that we were the evil pot dealers coming into their neighborhood.
The Pacific Justice
Their
Institute.
neighborhood. Entering on July 13th is a situation of discrimination. There's no reason why there can't be a cannabis club in every single neighborhood. I don't support a pocketarium. I don't. They are so empirical. They've got a club, a permit going in East Bay, and now they want 2 clubs here before we get all of the other clubs that were taken out by the feds, which they profited from. I have communicated, they haven't even called me, and I got the last permit for the planning department for the Sunset, which was a huge victory, but they didn't even call me to ask me, what do you think your pitfalls were? Where did you make mistakes? No communication, zero communication. They organized with Spark and with other dispensaries to shut us out of City Hall. So there's no way I'm going to back their permit. I'm going to remain neutral. But I am going to go up there, and I hope you'll join me July 13th when we go before the Planning Commission, and they're very specific. We're going to be talking about discrimination, that we worked on another permit in this area and we face the same discrimination, and that if they do not approve this club, that they are looking at a lawsuit. The city of San Francisco should be sued for discrimination. But am I supporting this particular club? No. I'm supporting that any club and every club that applied in the Sunset District should be granted their permits retrospectively, and all of those clubs should be in the Sunset. There is no reason to listen to bigotry, because that's what it is. And their true fear is their property value, and we're going to go in and educate about how we up the property value and we increase safety in every neighborhood that the cannabis community goes into. A pocketarium is extremely wealthy. They will have a shit ton of people there to support them because they'll be paying them to do so. You know, you don't have to worry about them. Believe me, that's a mega millionaire club, and you don't have to worry about them. But what we need to worry about is that the city could bend to discrimination and call it a neighborhood self-determination, and that's not right, because there's plenty of people in that neighborhood that need local access. They're riding the bus for like 45 minutes to get downtown to get medicine, and if you have neuropathy, that's not fun. So we're going in for the patients of the Sunset, not a particular club. Everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's the 13th.
At what time?
My guess is that the Planning Commission usually holds its meetings that starts at 1:30. But we'll be meeting a couple times before then, I'm sure. What?
Denise.
Yeah. The other thing is that we're going to be preparing for legislation to hit in September and October. That will be the entire overhaul of our previous laws. So expect that you're going to be spending like days upon days, hours upon hours. And anybody that's walked this walk with me before, and I see a lot of faces, they can tell you, bring your water, bring your medications, bring anything that you would bring for a day-long journey, because they will put us at the end of the agenda if it says on the agenda that we're the first, expect to be the last. But know that we're going to be the only people talking about patients' rights. From a true heart. There'll be people that will say they're there for patients' rights, but we know that we actually live in the city every day. You know, half of the state legalization task force that's illegal, that's in this building, they live in Sonoma. They don't even live in San Francisco. They live on a cannabis plantation up north, you know? So that's the reality that we face, is like we're going up against plantation owners, expensive lobbyists. I've never ever left the table. I've been told to leave the table. I've been told to leave the building, but I never ever will, because that's what they were saying when we entered the building. They were saying, oh my God, get out of here.
We never leave.
But we never leave because that's the people's building. Got our work cut out for us. And am I still looking for a space? Absolutely. Am I looking for a space for a retail location? Not necessarily. What I'm looking for is a harm reduction center, because I believe deeply in what we've done the last 15 years of harm reduction. I know people that stay sober. And it's very important for us to speak out on this one, is that they're going to try to put in a cannabis department. Now, you'd think that I'd be like, yeah, a cannabis department.
No.
Everything up.
They are going to try to seat lobbyists as gatekeepers, and then when they're asked how they're going to fund this, you want to know how they're going to fund this? This is funny as shit. You guys, this is funny as shit.
With
they're going to
tax.
fund it. No, they're going to fund it by taxing the other local retails. So if the local retailers are paying for the cannabis department, do you think that they're going to allow any competitors to open their doors?
Ouch.
No, that's why it's set up. It's constructed to be a gatekeeping service for the
Nepotism.
current monopoly, which is not what we want. As patients, you want more competition. You want those prices to go down and the quality to go up. And you always want a patient representative with a vote. And an authentic patient representative with a vote, not somebody that works for paying clients. You want somebody that only works for the patients, and that seat ain't there. And if they put it there, they're going to put someone like Sarah Schrader or somebody like that.
ASA.
Yeah, they'll put ASA in that seat.
Drug
ASA,
Policy Alliance.
Or Drug Policy Alliance, who have worked over the last 10 years to restrict permitting. And they work to restrict permitting because they have paying clients. So they say, we want legalization just for this group of mostly white affluent people. But currently they're paying groups of color to come and defend them. Like Jay-Z and, no shit, they're that wealthy that they can throw some money at Jay-Z and say, hey, pump up our organization, give it a face of color. Can you do that for us? Same fucking story we've heard for goddamn years, you know? And yes, somebody will sell out to do that. Of course, just like poor patients have sold us out back and forth, and we hold no grudge. You want to know why? Because they're poor patients. They need that little extra medicine or that meal or whatever those guys gave them. I mean, I have had people like pass out, and they definitely were not passing out from cannabis that they had been given to betray the patient movement. So it's just like, you know, the same old drug war where they use addicts for information and to go against authentic people movement. Same story. This has been going on probably since the 1920s, right? Maybe even before that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's called monarchies. Oligarchy. A
Everybody knows what an oligarchy is?
A kleptocratic oligarchy.
So, I mean, my sort of loose definition of an oligarchy, and I talk about it a lot on Facebook, is one network of friends pretending like they're competing with each other, but
They're working
actually
together.
all coordinated and working to secure a power structure for themselves and their friends. They'll run their friends against each other to get one person in there, right? And that's what you've seen in City Hall for the last 40 years. Now, I'll give you this. It's my favorite oligarchy. any other city, we'd be dealing with much worse, much more conservative oligarchs. You wouldn't see African American women at the helm. You wouldn't see gay people there. You would see mostly white men there. And you wouldn't have any of the issues addressed by poor people. That's what goes on in every other city, you know, truly in America. You have oligarchs whose families may have been seated, you know, at the House of Oligarchs since, you know, 4 centuries ago, really. I mean, it's that corrupt in America, and it's going to take us a long time to change it. Right? They did come in the ship, but not the longboat, not the longboat.
No.
Vikings came and we were peaceful, and we left peacefully.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
More or less.
Well, more or less, as peaceful as Vikings we can be.
We invented the word berserk.
We did invent the word berserkers.
Every day, Monday through Friday, when the federal building was open, we were down there from 8 a.m. to after 5. We brought our lunch, we brought water, we done everything.
We brought our dinner, we brought our breakfast.
Yeah, medicine, we had